I will activate, yes, I will activate the recording, and also I will activate the live stream on Facebook. So just give me a moment, and then I will say a few words about you. But to tell you the truth, I expect you to add whatever you find necessary to be added, because we are meeting for the first time, yes, here. So that is really a unique situation for me. Okay, so I am going to share to IATEFL page. So we are going live on IATEFL. All right. Okay. Okay, so hello everyone, and I would like to welcome you to this weekly webinar of IATEFL Poland, this time with Nick. Nick, can you pronounce your name so that we can all learn it? I haven't.
Nick Michelioudakis.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a challenging surname, but I can assume that my Polish surname is equally challenging, Wilinkiewicz. So, okay. So balance between us. Okay, so you have written in this bio that you provided to us that you have been active in the English language teaching for many years, not only as a teacher, but also as an examiner, and also presenting on different occasions, among others at IATEFL Poland in Wrocław, as you mentioned at the beginning. And last but not least, you are a teacher trainer. So this is your role for tonight also. And you wrote that you have traveled and you have given seminars and workshops in many countries all over the world. So you could also tell us a lot about intercultural communication and how to manage this very difficult, very demanding, but very popular recently field that is associated somehow and should become a part of our language expertise. Yes, so not only language, but also intercultural differences. You wrote that you have been writing on methodology, but also psychology and English language teaching. And I think that this will be the most precious element of your today's webinar for us. And of course, you have many areas of activity, such as articles on insights from such disciplines as marketing, management. So that is my area, more business context, business communication, but also social psychology, also a very interesting area. And your articles have appeared in numerous newsletters and magazines. I will make the links that I received from you available to the participants so that they will be able to get to know about your whole area of activities and expertise. Okay, and today you will be telling us how to make the most of your course book. But don't take it too literally, dear participants, because it will be a relation between teaching and psychology as well. So over to you, Nick.
Thank you, Luciana. So hello, everyone, and thank you for being with us this evening. My name is Nick, and I would like to start with a personal story. There were about 10 years ago, I was doing my Delta course. I was about 23 at the time. And if you believe this, you'll believe anything. So anyway, as part of our course, we had to observe some lessons. And one day I had to observe this very experienced teacher. He was a British Council teacher. So before the class started, I approached him and I asked him, what is the aim of your lesson? And he looked at me and smiled and said, well, if you must know, the aim of my lesson is to cover page 17 because I'm a bit behind in the syllabus. So I remember being shocked by the answer. It was at this point that I realized that there's a big difference, between the classroom reality that we face as teachers and the reality as it is presented to us in ELT courses like CELTA and Delta and so on. And I would like this to be my starting point. Okay, this was the idea behind this workshop. I am a teacher, a normal teacher. I use a course book. Tomorrow I have to do page 17 with my class, and there is a text there. What do I do? So today we want to look, these are the session aims, okay? We want to look at how we can get students interested in the text, okay, before they even read it. How can we make reading interesting, reading the text interesting? And also how to take it a step further. How can we make the most of the text by integrating reading with other skills? Okay? And in the process, I will be talking about 4 principles from psychology. So let's get started then. So I have a text. How can I get my students interested? Principle number 1, curiosity. There is the gap theory of curiosity that says that curiosity is generated when you know some things about a text, but not everything. So what I want to do is to give students some things about the text, but not everything. Let's see how we can do it. So I can start by giving them a word cloud. Okay, so students can see this. Now they're beginning to get an idea of what the text is about. I would like you to imagine that you're students. Okay, this is going to be an interactive workshop, and I hope that you're going to participate. So students can see that the text is about children and Anne and books and desks and lessons, things like that. And then I tell them, we are going to read a story about Anne's first day as a teacher. Okay, so already students have started forming expectation. They know some things about the text. Yeah, it's what is called schema activation. And then what you can do to take this further is you take some key words from the text and you give them to the students. Here they are. The text contains the following words: smile, read, water, tired, beautiful, exercises. Okay, so students say, okay, what's the text about? I mean, water, beautiful, how is this related to teaching? And then you give them this task. With your partner, try to link at least 4 of these words together in a sentence that makes sense. Okay. Now, you don't have a partner here, but I would like you to try this so you can see what it's like from the student's point of view. I want you to, in the chat box, I want you to type a sentence that contains at least 4 of these words. Off you go. I'll do one myself. Okay, so let's see. Learning lessons were helping others. Okay. I was thinking of the story now. Okay, so Anne was feeling tired, but she tried to smile. She had a beautiful smile while she was reading the exercise. Okay. No, you don't have to keep to these to the words as they are. What else can go? What other sentences can we make? Although Anne was tired, she smiled, seeing the beautiful exercise. Okay, that's very creative. Okay, but you get the idea, right? In case you're tired, it's a great idea. Take a deep breath, smile, read a good book. Okay, now we think about the story though. Okay, Anne's first day as a teacher. All right, so the teacher entered the room and smiled beautifully. Very good. You get the idea. And this is the second principle now. The first principle is curiosity. Okay, students, you show students some things about the text and you make them curious. Very good. Thank you, Luciana. When she entered the room with a smile, she looked at the students. Some of them were smiling. Work on exercise. Very good. The second principle is investment. What we are asking them to do here is to invest them. We ask them to just make a sentence. Not much. Okay. Now let's take this a step further. How can I make my students even more curious? Here's my favorite technique. This is what you do. You take your text, you take some sentences from the text, and you cut them in half. You give students the first half, and you ask them to complete the sentences. Very good, very simple. Notice how simple the activities are, because we are busy teachers. We can't spend ages preparing materials. So I've done this. Let's see. In the next slide, you're going to see some sentences about what happens in the story. With the person next to you or individually, try to complete each one so that it makes sense. Use your imagination, right? When you have finished, we'll read the text quickly, and you will have to complete the sentence to the base of the information from the text. So let me show you the 5 sentences. So this is the activity. You take 5 sentences from the text, cut them in half. Let's try to do them together, all right? So Anna had prepared a speech to give the children, but what? Maybe she left the speech at home. Or maybe she couldn't find the paper. Okay? Please try to complete the first sentence. Anna had prepared a speech to give the children, but something happened. What? Let's say she could not find it. Anything else? Remember, this is a workshop. So I want you to, but she spilled some water over them. Very good. Okay. Anything else? She decided to change it at the last moment. Okay. She forgot them at home. Okay, very good. She decided not to. She completely forgot it. The kids were very good, very good. Okay, let's do the second one. Most of the children in the classroom appear to be what? Maybe tired, naughty. Okay, curious, preoccupied. Yes, okay. Yeah, busy. I don't know. Paying attention. Very good, very good. Next one, next one. Jane Andrews was naughty. During the lesson, she took out. What did she take out? Now you might say a water gun, okay, her phone. Actually, at this point, I have to tell you that the story is set in America of the 19th century. So there were no phones. So think about 1890 or something. A frog she had in the bag, a stick. Okay, very good. A gun. This is America, right? Very good. Anne punished Jane for misbehaving. She made her do what? Perhaps do 10 push-ups. Do sit-ups. Very good. Do exercises. Okay, very good. Anything else? Okay. Write the same on the board 100 times. Okay. Perhaps read the text aloud. Very good. Very good. Okay. At the end of her first day as a teacher, Anne felt, how did she feel? Let's see. Dismayed, exhausted. Anything else? Happy, disappointed, rich. Okay, I thought this is a bit of a joke. Okay. All right, you get the idea. All right. Curiosity. You give them the half sentences, so they want to see what the second part is. Invest them. You get them to complete the sentence. Very good. Okay. So now we want students to read the text. But wait, you never tell the students, okay, go on, read this text, right? You give them a focus task. This is our focus task. I want you to read the text, and I want you to see what the right answers are. So how would you complete these sentences on the basis of what the text says? So we have a focus task, okay? Now, because I know you're good, This is a fast reading activity. I'm going to show you the text and I will ask you to read it in 60 seconds. Are you ready? Of course you are. Born ready, your teachers. 60 seconds. Let me make it bigger. Here it is. Off you go. One minute. Just read it. Thirty seconds. Okay, time's up. We don't have to finish all the activities. The idea is for you to see what the activities look like, okay, to experience the activities from the student's point of view. So let's see. Here is our task. Anna had prepared a speech to give the children, but what? Please type the answer. What is the right answer? She couldn't remember it. She forgot the words. Very good, very good. Okay. Number 2, most of the children in the class appear to be cheerful. Very good, cheerful. Excellent. Jane Andrews was naughty. During the lesson she took out, what did she take out? Grasshoppers. It's unbelievable, yeah? Okay, we've never had this problem in our class. Okay. Anne punished Jane for misbehaving. She made her do what? Stand in front of the class. Very good, very good. And at the end of her first day as a teacher, Anne felt, how did she feel? Tired and sad, tired. Yeah. Okay, right, very good. So you do a fast reading activity and students check their predictions. Okay, now our students have read the text, but they have read it superficially. Okay, they haven't read it properly. It was just a fast reading activity. Ideally, you want your students to read the text again. All right, now you try doing that. Tell your students immediately after they have read the text, okay, I want you to read it again. Then never do that. You need to give them a second task, hopefully an interesting one, so they don't fall asleep. Now, here's a question for you. Did you notice anything strange about the text while you were reading it? Feel free to share your thoughts on chat. Think door, okay. So what did you notice about the text? Do you notice anything? There was some spelling mistakes, some grammar mistakes. Very good, very good. Yeah. Actually, there were no mistakes. What you saw in the text was some extra words. There were some extra words in the text. How do I know? Well, I know because I put them there myself. That's right. There were some extra words. I should know because I put them there myself. There are 15 extra words altogether. These words make a message, okay, from me to you. So there is a message hidden in the text. Okay, it's my student's favorite activity. What I would like you to do with a partner or alone in this case, I want you to try to read the text again and spot these words so you can find out what the message says. Let me show you what I mean. Remember, there are 15 extra words. So this is the text. Okay. How do you do this? I will do the first one so you can get the idea. You start reading the text, and when you get to a point where it's tricky, you say, aha. So there's something wrong here. Anne felt nervous as she entered the classroom. That's okay. Just last year, she was being a student. Okay, she was being a student. That's a bit funny. Okay, so you know there's something wrong there. There is an extra word. And that's right, it's being. She was a student. Let's carry on now. And now she was a teacher. It was a strange thing. Okay, that's right. So we have being and we have air. Now, please stop typing words into the chat box. Please do not type anything else. I want you to work on your own, to take a piece of paper and write down all the extra words you can find so you can read the message. Okay, please stop typing because that helps the other students. Okay, off you go. I'll give you 90 seconds. You don't have to finish it, okay? But please do not type anything into the chat box. The point is just to find some of these extra words. You have 90 seconds. Please do not type anything into the chat box. Okay, remember the idea is not to find the whole message. The idea is to find as many of the words as you can and to see what the activity feels like from the student's point of view. Something else I need to add, the words are in the right order. Okay. Let me stop you there. What I would like you to do now is to type in a number into the chat box. How many of the extra words have you managed to find? Please type a number into the chat box. 12, excellent. Miriam, you are brilliant. 5, 7, 12. Any higher offers? 13. Miriam has a smiley face. Do I get it? Do I hear 14? Okay, anything more than that? How about, does anybody have 17 or 18? If so, you've been making up your own sentence because there are only 15 there. Okay, all right, very good. Can you please type in the message or as much of the message as you have? Being a new teacher is very often not quite as excellent. Georgia, you're brilliant. Georgia has been looking through my slides clearly. I don't know how she does it. Okay. All right. Very good. You get the idea. Hidden message. Okay, this is it. So how do you do it? Okay, this is the text with the extra words, by the way. How do you do it? You take your text, you write the sentence, which is the message, and then what you do is you copy and paste the words into the text. That's it. Now, the great thing about this activity is that it's very flexible. You can make it easier or more difficult. How can you do this? Well, first of all, you can play with how many words you add. Here I have 15. I could make it more difficult by jumbling up the words. So if the words were not in the right order, you'd have to find them and then put them in the right order. Okay. And another thing I could do is to try to change where you put the words. So let's have a look, for example, at this word, new. Okay, it's strange to be on the other side of the teacher's new desk. This is grammatically correct, right? But if I take the word new and I put it after of, then it's obvious that this is an example of new, the teacher's desk. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so it's very, very flexible. Okay. Excellent activity. My students always love it. You can't stop them. If you tell them, okay, enough, stop the activity, they say, no, I want to do it. I want to see the message. Okay, I love this one. All right, let's take things a step further. And then you surprise your students again. You tell your students, wait, this is not the end of the story. Remember, at the end it says she locked the school door and started to walk home. That's it, right? No, that's not the end. What I did is when I took the text, I left out the ending. Over to you now. These are the instructions. There is something missing from the story, the ending. What do you think happened after Anne left school? With your partner, try to write what happened next. Okay, just 2 or 3 sentences. I think this is a brilliant activity. Students love this. Okay, completing a story. It's writing, which they normally hate, but it's only 2 or 3 sentences. What I would like you to do now is to just write 1 sentence in the chat box. What do you think happened after Anne left school? Maybe Jane was angry with her because she had punished her. Maybe she threw an apple at her. Okay, but I don't know. Maybe she was abducted by aliens. Okay, or maybe as she was walking home, she saw a prince on a white horse, and the prince thought, okay, yeah, just what is a pretty girl like you doing here? Okay, why don't you come to my castle? We can get married. Over to you now. 1 sentence. What do you think happened afterwards? So she decided to be more productive, never give up. Yes, she met a student who told her how much she enjoyed the first class. Okay. She went home and decided to quit a job. When I do it with teachers, most of them say she went home and decided to give up, stop being a teacher. Yeah. She came back home, fed a cat, spent a lovely evening drinking tea. Yeah. She decided to change her career. Okay. Yeah. She went to the local pub and got drunk. Okay. Very good. Glass of 2 were excellent. Well, let's see what happened. The sooner. Yeah, what about this? She decided to join IATEFL Poland. I cannot type. Yes. Oh, she's living in Poland. Okay. So this is to promote the association as well. All right. Okay. This is the end. At the bottom of the hill, she met one of the girls from the class. She gave her a small bunch of wildflowers. I would like to give you these, she said. I thought you might like them, and I like you, teacher. Sob, sob. Anne took the flowers and smiled. Thank you, she said. They're beautiful. Suddenly, Anne didn't feel tired at all. She was happy and hopeful. Yes, this is the stuff they tell us in training courses to persuade us to become teachers. Okay, of course, we know better by now. Very good. One of my favorite activities. Notice the skills integration. Notice that it's a short task. The students invariably prefer their own conclusion. Now, let's take this step further. First of all, my students have read the text, but I also want them to benefit from the language in the text. How can I do this? Well, if you ask your students to read the text and make a note of any words or expressions they would like to keep, they're going to do 2 things. They're going to write down single words, okay, the most difficult words they can find, which are completely useless, perhaps a word like, I don't know, grasshoppers. And they're going to write the translation in Greek or Polish or whatever. So what I tell them instead is this. I want you to read the text, and I want you to keep phrases, not words, collocations, and write them down. Okay, not phrases that you cannot understand, phrases that you can understand, but that you would not have been able to use. And then I give them a little quiz, a little test. Students love quizzes. Like this. Let's do a couple of these together, okay? Let's look at the second part. The children were ready for lessons to begin. Anne had a speech to, what do you do with a speech? Please type the missing words into the chat box. To deliver, very good. To give, very good, very good. And students can see that there are, well, to prepare, no, she had prepared it already. Oh. But students can see there are lots of correct answers. Deliver a speech, give a speech, make a speech. Okay. Now, what about this? But now she could not remember. Can be one or two words. Yeah, okay. What's the word? Any of it. Very good. A word of it is the correct thing from the text. That's a good phrase. I can't remember a word. Very good. Look at the last paragraph now. At the end of the day, the children left and packed up her things. She felt tired and a bit sad. She didn't know if she liked teaching. There's a phrase there. Very good. After all. After all is the right. After all, yeah. Yeah. After all is a good phrase. Now, what do? She closed the door? It could be closed. What's the missing verb in the next one? Closed school door. Another one? She locked the door. That's right. Okay. So you want students to keep this as a collocation. Very good. So you get that's a simple idea, because we want students to focus on the language as well. And now you ask yourself, okay, so they've read the text and hopefully they have saved some phrases. How can I integrate other skills now? Right? How can I get them to do speaking or writing? Here's an idea. Any tips? What you want is an activity that naturally follows from the text, but you want something else. This is the principle number 3, self-relevance. If you ask students to say a few things about global warming, they might get bored because they don't know anything. But your students are students. If they know anything, they know what it's like being a student, and they have a pretty good idea of the kind of teacher they like and the kind of teacher they don't like. So look at this task. Any tips? So imagine you get students working together. As Anne discovered, being a new teacher is not so easy. Now imagine that a friend of yours has just started working as an English language teacher. If they asked you for advice as a student, what tips would you give them? So you tell your students, think about the best teachers you've ever had. What were they like? What advice would you give somebody who would like to become a teacher? So with a person next to you, try to come up with a list for you, set them a concrete task. Okay. Over to you now. You are teachers, you are experienced teachers. Imagine you are this guy on the right. Okay. What advice would you give the young fellow? Somebody said they're teaching the first class tomorrow. Be patient. Good. Okay. The more specific you can make it, the better. For example, you can, okay, try to learn the students' names as soon as possible. Very good. Be well prepared. Keep it short and simple. Very good. Have good rapport. Okay, now we need to make it specific. How can they have good rapport? Try not to take anything personally. Very important tip. Well done, Natalia. Be open to new ideas. Listen to the students. Big, 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 very important tip. Listen carefully and be empathetic. Yeah. Connect with the students. Okay, how can they do this? Be friendly. Yeah. Take it easy. With time, you'll begin enjoying the teaching activities. Yeah. Yeah, that's important, isn't it? Okay, very good. Any other tips? I'd expect to be overwhelmed here with tips. Thanks, IATEFL Poland. Okay. All right. Be confident. Very important. And I hope to give a presentation in the future about the importance of confidence. Any other tips? Ask them about personal preferences. Very good. Try to find whether, perhaps get some feedback. Be clear all the time. Give clear instructions. Hugely important. Okay. Anything else? Make sure you find relevant material. Yes. Very important. Demonstrate. Hugely important. Yeah. Monitor what students are doing. Have they got it right? Yeah. Mime. Yeah. Good. Very good. Excellent. Lots of tips here. So notice, why is this a good activity? Well, it is a good activity because it's relevant to the students. Students can actually do it, and it has to do with the daily life. Okay, very good. Now, let's take it a step further. What about homework? We want to get them to do some writing, perhaps. Okay, we've done reading, we've done a bit of writing, done a bit of speaking. What about giving them something to do as homework? Yes, lots of good ideas. All right. What about homework? Students normally hate homework. Why do they hate homework? Well, one of the reasons is because it's usually something boring. It's a display activity, so students can show you how good their English is. And another thing is that very often it's something big, and they don't know how to go about it. Look at this activity. Remember the previous one. Notice how the activities organically flow from each other. The previous activity, that new teacher had asked a colleague for advice. Well, that's you for advice. This friend of yours also asked another teacher for some tips. And the other guy, he sent this young teacher an email. Read through the email. Do you agree with this person? And then this is the task for the students. Rewrite the email so that it gives better advice. Very good. So what's the difference between this activity and the activities we normally we just give them a writing task? The difference is twofold. First of all, they have the ideas because of the activity they did before. And another thing, they do not have to write an email from scratch. They have the email. You give it to them. They just have to change it. So all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like a big thing. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to write the email. What I'm going to do instead, tell them to add some extra tips if they want to. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to read it out to you. Okay. So this is the email. Here goes. Hi, John. Good to hear that you got your first job as an English language teacher. Okay, since you asked for my advice, here are some simple tips that I follow. First of all, be strict with the students and never smile at them. If you do, they will see you as a friend and misbehave in class. Always follow the book. Never use any games in class. Games are just noisy. They don't teach students any language anyway. Give students as much homework as possible. Even if they don't do everything, they're likely to do some of it. In class, you should only work with the good students. There's no point in trying to teach the others as they don't want to learn anyway. Okay. If you take my advice, you cannot go wrong. Do write and tell me how you like your new life. Take care, Paul, whatever. Now, this email is, of course, crazy. You can imagine, you read it out in class, and you can imagine the students going, what? What is this? What rubbish is it? And this brings us to our fourth principle, incongruity. Nobody would ever write such an email. It's just so stupid, yeah? And students get surprised, say, what is this? And they also get worked up because they don't like any of these ideas. So now they're more likely to do their homework and write something completely different. And as I said, they have something to work on. Okay, so that's the fourth principle, incongruity. Gosh, I am fast, but then you are so good. So basically, this is it. That's all I had to say for today. Now, before we finish, before I go over the main points, imagine that immediately after this webinar, somebody stops you and they ask you, what one thing would you like to remember from this webinar? Okay, over to you now. What would you like to remember? What one takeaway would you like to save? Please feel free to share your ideas in chat. Out of all the ideas today, predict the sentences, half sentences. Okay, that's a good, yeah. You should save some ideas, you know, your bag of tricks. Raise students' curiosity. Yeah, create the ending. So leave out the ending. Yeah, curiosity engagement, building up students' expectation. Raise curiosity. Never give up. That's the other thing. Okay. All right. Take the curiosity, pre-reading. What about my fantastic hide the message activity? Your students will remember this one. Yeah. Because it's like a puzzle, and students love puzzle-like activities. Okay. And anything else? Anything else you'd like to remember? The irrelevance, self-relevant, generating ideas. That's right. It's so interactive. Notice that it's step by step, and at any one time, you're not asking students to do a big thing. But the best activities are short and fast. Oh, thank you so much, Carolina. Thank you very much. Don't keep this under your hands. Tell the people in IATEFL Poland. Okay, very good. Now, let me go over the main points once again. Yes, this is one of the points I wanted to make. Well done, Nino. Top tips. Okay. Number one, curiosity. To get students interested, give them some information, but don't give them everything. Okay, so give them some words from the text or half sentences from the text. That's curiosity. Remember the gap principle. Number two, investment. Get students to do something with this information. It's not enough for them to see the half sentences. Get them to complete the statements. Show them the words. Get them to link them together in a sentence. The more they invest, the more they will want to read the text after. Which brings us to reading. Give students a reason to read the text in detail. Okay, always give them a focused task, complete the sentences, but then give them another reason, hidden message. Notice, by the way, that in the hidden message activity, you can customize it depending on your class. Okay, so the message could be something funny. So, John, I have told you many times, don't send text messages in class. Something really funny about what particular student has. Everybody's going to laugh, etc. Okay. Next thing. Think beyond the text. Okay, you've done the text. How can I integrate other skills? How can I get students to speaking or writing activities? And remember the third principle, self-relevance. Students are more likely to respond if the task you give them has to do with their own reality. Okay. And the last thing, remember incongruity. Exploit student creativity. Assign homework that they will want to display to the classmate. Remember that last email, how strange and weird it was. Why not get students to write a weird email? Why not tell them, okay, I want you to write funny tips, strange tips, okay? And the class can vote on the funniest or the most creative email next time. So students can come up with ideas like, the teacher should wear a funny hat in class, or the teacher should come dressed like Harry Potter, I don't know, okay? And this is the final point I want to make. No matter how boring the course is, you can always make it more interesting. No matter how boring the text is, you can always make it more interesting just by tweaking activities a little here and there. Okay. And I think we owe it to our students to make the lessons interesting. And we owe it to ourselves as well. Think about, why do we do the things we do? Do we do it for the money? Do we do it for fame? No, we are teachers. Ours is not a job. Ours is a vocation. Now watch this little video.
Obviously, I can't afford a lot of the luxuries that people take for granted. Nice house, car, nice clothes, food. But then I didn't become a teacher for the money anyway.
That's us. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. Thank you. Certificate attached. Oh, wait. I have another little treat for you. If you like this session, thank you guys. Thank you very much. If you like this session, there's another one I would like to share with you. You can use this link. You go on YouTube. You can take a picture of this or a screenshot of this slide. You go on YouTube and there is this talk, how to study effectively. Now, this is a talk I gave in September for Oxford University Press, and it's about 7 strategies for students, how students can study effectively. So I would like you to go there, hopefully watch this. And if you like it, please click on the like button and please feel free to write some messages underneath. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you so much. If you like it, again, yes. Yes, I hope so. Okay. Hi, Tamara. Thank you. Hi, Vula. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I hope to see you. We have another webinar with IATEFL Poland. I can't remember when. It's going to be on using advertisements in class.
Yes, I pasted it into the chat box so everybody knows the exact date. Yes. So everybody who was in the room, all the 30 participants will know it long ahead of the time of the webinar. I would like to thank you for making us really participate, drawing our attention at the beginning. That is an easy thing, but keeping the attention of the whole audience throughout the whole webinar and making us really actively participate, that is not so easy, and it's not so common in our webinars, although we have very
Thank you so much.
So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. It really means a lot